this and that, and what the fuck else, episode 134. Now, it's quite a number. Feels like yesterday when I started at number 1. But that is how life goes. Every day another number. This was a interesting weekend with the Eskom load shedding stages jumping up and down from Friday, stage 2, stage 4, stage 6, stage 4, stage 2, and then this evening we got it back, stage 6. But that is what we'll have to get used to. Eskom is in trouble, and this government is definitely out of its depth. And with all the rain and so, there is additional issues. But I have said it on Twitter, and I'm going to say it again. Eskom load shedding is going to pull the ANC government down. And now with all these rains, that will be what is going to flood them away. They are totally out of their depth now, totally. Between the electricity pressures and the flood damages, it's too much for them. Mark my words, it's too much. But in any case, let me not dwell on that. I'll do some more Skidmarks about that. In this discussion of a photograph, I want you to take note, and you must, if you follow these programs, I have mentioned many times the issue of cropping on photographs, and I have one day spoken about when you're using a model that it is very important that the pose that the model takes, she must be able to hold that pose for a while, and you as the viewer must not notice any discomfort in that pose, because the moment you see that, it loses its impact. Now look at this image. Now this is typical. This is typical. The image that an amateur will do when he gets into the photography game and he wants to compete in the boudoir or glamour sections. And I saw that a lot in my years as a judge. But look at this image carefully. Look at this hip of the girl. That is a totally unnatural position. She is raising her hip up and she's not touching the bed with her buttocks. And it is clear that that is an uncomfortable pose. Clear. Now, the photographer, if this shot is in front of me, this is between a 4 and a 5. And it will get the 5 for the technical quality of the image. It's nicely lit, and it is in focus, and all of that. Technical stuff. We'll give it a 4 or a 5. But that's it. Now just for a moment, think about what I said, and then look at this. Look at the difference a crop makes. All of a sudden, that tension of the pose is gone. You're looking at a beautiful lit bedroom scene and a beautiful model. And if it is entered into a salon like that, like this, it's an easy 8, maybe a 9. But that is photography. And then we get to Russia. Yeah, as usual, I'm going to show you this, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a slideshow. Jacob posted this, and he said, "Good morning. Today I propose to take a morning stroll along the coast of the Japan Sea. Nakota Briekmerke cry. I'm going to give you a slideshow. Sit back, relax and enjoy. Beautiful scenery. I would love to walk there and take photographs. And then we get to the gender thing. And this one made me very angry. Look at this. According to the 17-count indictment, the adoptive dads who are LGBTQ activists allegedly performed oral sex on both boys, forced the children to perform oral sex on them, and anally raped their sons. The one child who just turned 11 suffered injuries from being brutally raped. What the hell is wrong with society? How are we tolerating mentally disturbed people like this to run free in society, and not only that, allow them to adopt children? This is, I'm not going to go further, but the West has lost all morality, and what they are doing to the children will cost them. And then we get to the global thing. And here, this is something that is interesting to me, and I support this. This guy says, why is South Africa Navy joining exercises with Russia and China? Because fuck you, fuck Ukraine, and fuck the West. That's why. And I agree 100% with that. The BBC published the original article, why is South Africa joining exercises with Russia and China? What the hell has it got to do with the BBC? What the fuck's it got to do with the West? What? It's nobody's business. South Africa is an independent country and we're part of BRICS. And that's the end of the story. It is the South African government's choice to do this, and I support it. And then we get to this. This was published on the 27th of June 1925. Isn't it amazing how relevant it is today? Today, as we talk, look at that image, because that is what's going on. And then we get to this. Doc posted this, a beach in 1950s. And look at that image. And the most noticeable is, look at that, there's not a single fat or overweight person in sight. Why would that be? I have got a good idea why, but you can tell me in the comments what you think why. And then we get to the immigration story in Europe, and listen to this. An invader in Sweden who raped a young woman along with his brother in 2018 was convicted to a 4.5 years in prison. It was overturned this week, since it's found that at the time that he was under the age of 18, and he has been awarded damages of €1 million from Swedish. Has the Swedish lost their fucking minds? What will this do now? This is going to inspire these barbarians to choose this, raping of Swedish women, as a career path. It seems to me that the Europeans in general is committed to their own extinction. Decent white Europeans will have to go to Russia if they want to continue being decent white people. And then we get to something that really... One of the missiles fell between the residential houses in Karfsuse neighborhood as a result of the Israeli aggression that targeted Damascus and its surrounding a short while ago. Syria is swamped with that earthquake issues. And look at what the Israelis does. Shoot this. Now, I have said it previously, the Israelis better sit down and rethink their attitude. Putin is busy setting up a meeting between Syria, Turkey, Iran, and Saudi, and Iraq. And if they get their issues sorted out and can come to an agreement, and let's say a peace agreement, the Jews are in for a hell of a ride, because their days of shooting left, right and center in the Middle East will be over. And then we get to the United States. The United States is confident that they are the masters of the world, and all other countries must obey them completely. For example, America can supply weapons to Ukraine, China cannot supply to Russia. And I'm stunned. But I think the whole world is becoming aware of the hypocrisy and the ridiculousness of what America has been doing to the world for the past 70 years, 80 years. America's time is running out fast, and with them will they be their lapdogs in Europe. They think they can prescribe to the rest of the world what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. That time is over. And then we get this. They all understand that they cannot defeat Russia, but realizing that Russia will win anyway, they are participating in this war, while putting the whole world on the brink of nuclear war. If Roofer jumps from roof to roof, he will fall and die himself. Look at those 4 people there. They were the main players in blowing up that pipe, that Nord Stream pipeline. These people, these 4 people here, think that they can prescribe to the whole world how to act. And I'm sad to say, that Victoria Nuland, that woman is fucking evil. And that Biden is crazy, and this Blinken is out of depth, and he's got a typical short man syndrome. And Stoltenberg, look at that face. That guy's in a flat panic. And more from Blinken. The US Secretary of State Blinken threatened Wang Yi, head of the Office of the Commission of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of China on Foreign Affairs, about the consequences that could come from China, for China, if it provides material support to Russia. Who the fuck is this Blinken to threaten China? Who? But they are in for a bloody surprise. The rope is running out. Straight from the rules-based order playbook. Aren't the US and its EU vassals sending lethal aid to Ukraine? If the US sends lethal aid, it's okay. But if China sends lethal aid, it's not okay. Blinken says US concerned, China is weighing lethal aid to Russia. US Secretary of State says such support could mean weapons would cause serious problems in the US-China relations. And I think the rest of the world is now fucking fed up for relations with the US. And then we get to this crazy goal. So the Ukraine is now a US strategic friend, just like Israel, and can literally get away with open Nazi running around fighting for freedom to do Nazi salutes. Because by supporting Ukraine, they will shut up Russia, who wants to attack NATO. Does this make sense? I am so disappointed in this woman. When she was at the UN for Trump, I had a lot of respect for the fact that she was not afraid to call a spade, but I listened to this conversation of hers. She's fucking crazy. She justifies the support of that Nazis because they are fighting for freedom. Crazy. And then we get to this. This is quite interesting, and I have spoken about this railway line in America in a previous Skidmark. While the US was blowing almost $1 trillion per year on a military that can't conquer a nation of goat herders in sandals, China was investing heavily in world-class infrastructure. Trains in America, trains in China. And I must tell you, in that thread on Twitter, there was crazy responses and posts there. And this one is one from there. This Jenny Fire posted, "They are trying hard to destroy China's progress. That's a threat. Jealousy. They can't catch up. Have huge debt, helping countries develop, and of course, eats them up. Chinese doing so well." And I agree 100% with them. Here's some more from the US. California now leads the country in illiteracy. In fact, 23.1% of Californians over the age 15 cannot read this sentence. Think about that. And then you think about what's happening in the American schools, and that California specifically, all that gender cock that they're feeding those small kids instead of teaching them. And then here is something. "Nothing to see here. Keep sending money to Ukraine. Look at that rail bridge in America. Look at that. Here's a closer look. Look at that. The damn thing is falling apart." And that is the condition of a lot of the infrastructure in America, that they can pump trillions into wars and destabilizing countries and bombing other countries into oblivion. But look at their own infrastructure. And then we get to South Africa. Kambona Alfred says, "Zimbabweans are urging South Africans to chase away whites. Actually, in the small minds of Zimbabweans, they are hoping to cash on those whites. They are hoping that score of whites will seek refuge in Zimbabwe and start building the economy of that country. We'll see you." Crazy. And you're going to look at this image. That thing appeared over the weekend. Kiss an EFFer today. And then we get to that Z. What a fucking. And with all this balloon shooting of the Americans, the Chinese is giving them hell on social media and trolling them like crazy. And then this. The internet is saying that the next balloon the Chinese will launch over America will look something like this. You can see that it's got gay flag on, and it says Black Lives Matter. And on that note, please give me a like and subscribe and share the thing, and thank you for your support.